Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the movie Black Panther, and I really enjoyed this movie. I had some kind of issues with it, mainly pacing, and then when I started getting into it, it was mainly things about the Marvel Universe that connects with it. It's mainly because of the issues that having the Civil War introduced brings into effect more than anything. But overall, I thought this was a really good movie that really showed T'Challa's origins, the origins of Wakanda very well, and just did a good job of having a good center on him, but while also having very good supporting characters and a good villain to kind of show T'Challa's growth. So, the movie starts off and we get a very well done and very condensed history of Wakanda. We get into it and we see that in Africa, a vibranium meteorite hit. These 5 tribes gathered around and pretty much decided to get under one ruler of the Black Panther and use the vibranium to power their technology and their civilization. Now, one of the tribes decided to not follow this and instead went off in the mountains, but is still part of Wakanda as a whole. And it was crazy. I'm like, wow, I know we need some exposition to understand Wakanda, but it was just so very well done and really kind of cool effects. So we get in there and we're like, okay, cool. And we'd also get into 1992 in Oakland, California, and we see these kids outside playing basketball, and then we see these 2 guys planning for this assault. They've got these weapons, and they're planning to hit something. But of course, we see this thing fly over the building, and then we see this knock on this door, and the one dude goes over and says, well, there's some really weird-looking women out there. And they come in, and it's like, oh, okay. And, of course, that's T'Challa's father. Talking about it, and we find out that one of them is a prince of Wakanda. He's sent out as kind of a spy, and he's trying to figure out how to help the rest of their African brethren and everything. And, well, oh, okay. But, of course, we don't get the full effect of that until later in the movie. So then we get back into the present day. We see T'Challa needs to bring in someone who's on a mission pretty much trying to help enslaved girls. And T'Challa goes down, badass in his Black Panther suit, just whooping ass and everything. And, of course, he sees the person that they're going to extract, Nakia, his ex-girlfriend. He kind of freezes, and, of course, okay, the general of the bodyguards that protect him has to, like, help his ass out. And she said, don't freeze! He froze, and she had to help him. Of course, I'm telling everybody, don't you tell anything of what happened here, but you're free and you're going. I'm like, thank you, and then I'll go off and everything. And she's like, why are you taking me out? I'm doing really good work here. And he goes, listen, Father's dead. So that brings us a chain of events that we get to Wakanda, and they did a great job of doing the look of Wakanda and the costuming of everybody involved, because he gets down, he's talking to his mother and his sister, Shuri, and I really think they did a good job of T'Challa and his sister, and having that kind of relationship. And being a brother myself and having a little sister as well, I was like, oh yeah, this works out pretty well. They did a very good job of doing that kind of thing, her kind of flipping him off and everything, her being the technical genius behind most of his gadgets, her being kind of cute and just wanting to do kind of her own thing, want to go out and do some stuff because he's the big brother. He gets to go out and do all this kind of stuff. And so, of course, we learned that there needs to be a confirmation ceremony for the king. This was a really cool ceremony that they set up, because it's not just that when the current king dies, the next one in line takes up the throne. Now, there's the other tribes that have their say in it as well. And they could present a challenger and thereby change up the whole leadership of Wakanda. I'm like, that's pretty cool. It's an interesting kind of way. It's not a complete monarchy. It's like, all right. So, of course, he gets there, and most of them decline, but, of course, the mountain tribe comes down and presents their challenger. M'Baku. And this was pretty cool. Now, here's one of the things that kind of will come into effect later. In order to accept the challenge, T'Challa has to drink this herb that negates his powers. I don't know if it doesn't permanently do it because they've got this heart-shaped herb that does it, that is shown afterward, because they have a really cool fight scene between T'Challa and M'Baku, and it's really cool seeing the different kind of fighting styles with M'Baku just using pretty much brute force. Moreover, T'Challa, I'm like, oh god, you gotta watch out for him, and he doesn't kill him. He gets him to yield, and then, of course, he gets taken in. He consumes the herb. He's confirmed as king, and it's an interesting ceremony. They give it to him, and they bury him, and he's able to go to the spiritual realm. It's shown, and then I've heard that the vibranium is what affects this plant, but I was hoping that since this goes into a spiritual kind of realm, that this could potentially be linked to the soul gem, the soul stone, but that's not that big of a thing, because in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we've got Adam Warlock, who's also connected to the soul stone, so that's another kind of thing. But it's cool because we see him talking to his father and expressing concerns that he doesn't think he's ready. But, of course, his father kind of lays those concerns to rest and talks to him about, yeah, I've trained you for this. You're ready for this. Go and do it. And, of course, he comes up and he's getting all set up. And this one prominent person in the tribe, who's also the lover of the general, wants this Claw guy to be taken out because they get information that Ulysses Claw, the guy that we saw in Age of Ultron, is involved with obtaining this Wakandan vibranium artifact. And we see this scene with Eric Killmonger getting it. And it's pretty well done. And seeing Claw is very well done in this movie. He just is crazy, zany, and a delight to see work, because they kill two people, and then he asks them to run, and then kills the two, and he's like, listen, you don't want to make it look professional, you want to make it look amateurish. Like, okay. So, of course, Claw and Killmonger are getting ready to sell that kind of on the black market. So, as one of his big things to set himself apart from his father, he accepts this to go and bring Claw in, since he was responsible for the death of Wakandans and stealing of vibranium. So they go off to South Korea, Shuri being his support. He gets Nakia and Okoye to come with them, and they kind of go in. This is kind of where the pacing kind of went a little bit weird for me. I would have rather it stayed more in Wakanda, or tried to limit it as much as possible, because once you start getting people out into more of the world, that's when the whole issues with the whole Sokovia Accords come into effect, because they go in, and of course Claw comes in and is getting ready to sell the vibranium to Everett Ross, the CIA agent. And of course they see T'Challa and his retinue and think it's a thing, and a chase ensues. Now, it's a really cool chase because Shuri gets to help out with the remote driving of a car and all that, and they're going through, and Claw's using his newly acquired prosthetic blaster cannon thing going, and just, it's pretty well done. But the whole thing comes into effect in that T'Challa was fighting on Tony Stark's side, so assumingly he signed the Sokovia Accords. Wouldn't this... Now granted, he did kind of bring Bucky back. It just gets messy, because he starts going in and pretty much trying to take down someone with super capabilities, and things are getting damaged and destroyed. He almost kills him, and of course the general has to remind him the world is watching. It's like, oh, shit, they saw me in a Panther suit, in the Black Panther suit and everything during the whole Civil War. I gotta watch out for this. It's, oh god, that's where I get into effect. It just kind of was like, okay, we're moving along. So what happens is they've captured Claw. Everett Ross is, of course, interrogating Claw, which is funny because he's like, baby, don't hurt me no more. Just overall fucking with some people, because he's sitting in the chair, two-way mirror, of course. And it was funny seeing Ross kind of interacting with T'Challa and the general, and he touches T'Challa, and I'm like, that's the monarch of the nation. That's the Black Panther. Granted, he can handle himself, but you wouldn't touch a, a head of state like that, man. So he goes in and he learns that, because to Ross, he thinks that Wakanda is just a third world country. But of course, he talked about everything. You stole our vibranium. Ha! No! I stole a little bit. And of course, while this is going on, Killmonger is able to get the kind of whereabouts of Claw, breaks in, takes him, but of course a shootout starts going on, and Nakia was almost hit, but Ross shielded her with himself, and he gets severely injured. So T'Challa has to make a decision that he wants to save Ross. So they go off and they take him to Wakanda, and of course T'Challa is very affected with what's going on, because when Killmonger left, he had seen a ring that was similar to his, and he's like, what's going on here? So he takes him back, and sure, he's like patching him up and everything, and at first, after I was sitting down, I'm like, I don't know why Everett Ross was really needed in this movie, but then as I'm looking into it, he was needed to show an outsider's perspective of Wakanda and being like, oh, okay, kind of more of an audience kind of surrogate to be like, whoa, okay, what's going on here? This is pretty cool. And all that kind of effect. And his role, he has a role that is pretty important, but not important over like T'Challa and us getting everything about what's going on in Wakanda and all the effects going on, because they really want to stay to themselves. That's been what they've been doing. That's what T'Chaka was doing. That's kind of what his brother didn't want to do. And of course, we see kind of the effects of that different kind of philosophy. They do a good job of handling that. So of course, the one person that wanted vengeance is pissed off that T'Challa was unable to capture Claw and all that. And everybody's like, why did you bring this dude in here? This, of course, leads to the really awesome back half of the movie where Killmonger is getting ready to go to Wakanda. He wants Claw to tell him where it is, and Claw won't, and he shoots him and kills him, but's able to figure out how to get to Wakanda. And he goes there, he brings Claw's body and shows him off, and I gotta hand it to Killmonger. His plan was very effective. He probably saw that the king of Wakanda was killed and understood that there was a power vacuum there, that he could then assert his claim, because we find out that Killmonger was the son of T'Chaka's brother, and that he also has a claim to the throne. And that by doing this, killing Claw, a traitor to an enemy of Wakanda, he has gotten the ability to go into Wakanda, assert his claim and challenge. Of course, T'Challa accepts. We get a really cool fight scene between him and Killmonger. And we learn that Killmonger is like a CIA Black Ops kind of dude. He's been going around fighting wars. He knows how to fight. He's been training for this. We see that with the tattoos on him. And that he was denied being in Wakanda because we see that T'Chaka had killed his brother, because his brother was going to kill the person that he had sent to spy on him, because T'Chaka's brother had worked with Claw to steal the vibranium and was going to try and arm people to take vengeance on their oppressors, which is now Killmonger's plan as well, to take over Wakanda and do this. And in his view of helping, his means is arming everyone to take on the oppressors that oppress them, and thus in the end became that which they would have fought against. And it just brings to mind the saying, be careful hunting and fighting monsters, lest ye become a monster. It's like, yeah. So of course, Killmonger fights T'Challa and throws him off the waterfall, pretty much killing him. Pretty well to everybody else. He is accepted, and of course, the mother and Shuri and Nakia have to leave. The general stays behind, because that was a pretty cool thing that they put in there as well, and that the general was still loyal to Wakanda no matter who sat on the throne, and seeing Nakia be like, well, her difference of opinion is, if you were always loyal to this country, wouldn't you be loyal to what you want the country to be? And wouldn't be loyal to someone who would destroy that, because Killmonger's going pretty much to prepare war upon the world. And, oh crap. So of course, T'Challa's mother and Ross and Shuri and Nakia are going up to, they have taken one of the heart-shaped flowers, because when Killmonger ascended, he took it and he saw his father. That was a nice kind of scene that they did. But after that, he burnt all the flowers to pretty much stop anybody else from becoming king. And I'm like, wow. Okay, so she had been able to take one, and they were going to offer it to M'Baku to help fight Killmonger. But of course, he leads them to T'Challa, who his fishermen have brought up. And of course, they feed the flower to T'Challa and bury him in the snow. And he has another conversation with his father, because he was very disturbed that his father would kill his brother and just leave his son. And I like that. We see him going from having another understanding of his father, another understanding of his country, because his country can do a lot to help people. He goes from having the view that his father had of just keeping everybody in Wakanda safe, which is a monarch's idea to do, to understanding what they need to do with the vibranium. And we've seen all these technological advancements that they have. It goes in, I know it goes in the effect of the whole Spider-Man thing. With great power comes great responsibility. Wakanda has great power. They have a responsibility to use that power to not only help themselves, but to help anybody else they can as well. It does a lot of cool stuff of actually figuring out those points of how do you do that, because Killmonger, he had the whole thing of the ends justifying the means. That anything justified doing that. He wanted to help people, but he was too extreme in doing that. And of course, with T'Challa figuring out what was happening, and of course his father saying that he should join him, he said, no, I have to go back and I need to make this right. So he goes to fight this and to help people, because he doesn't want this to just turn into Wakanda just staying into itself or becoming this giant war state of having everything go to war. He wants to help people. He wants to be his kind of king, and it's really cool seeing that moment where he decides to be his own king. Because we've seen him trying to deal with that effect after his father's death. So we see Killmonger getting everything together, and he's got his own Black Panther suit. And it goes, there are many ways that this could have happened. Now, I only go into the effect of there's a kind of concoction that can take away Black Panther super abilities. I don't know why that wasn't utilized. Do I have I don't really have that much of a problem with it, because it goes into effect of, do I want something to make narrative sense, or do I want to see a cool fight scene? Which could also help the narrative as well, showing their different ideologies clashing together. I kind of want to go with the fight scene. It's just a little thing, and not really that much of an effect, but I'm just like, wait a minute. Couldn't somebody do this? Well, it goes in the effect that the priest dude that was pretty much in charge of that Killmonger killed. So we get into the effect. He has his own army with battle rhinos and shit, and really cool. They have their kind of cloaks that are used as shields and everything. That was pretty cool. But of course, the general and her guard go up against them, and we get this pretty cool fight scene. And Shuri and Nakia are trying to take down Killmonger while he goes into his effect, and he's almost taken down Shuri, but of course that's when T'Challa tackles them, and they go down into the vibranium mines. And they had seen that, we'd seen earlier in the movie that the vibranium mines have these magnetized railways, and that they have to use sonic kind of amplifier things to make sure to deactivate the vibranium. So that was a pretty cool trick. And while this is going on, Ross is like piloting this ship to make sure that the weapons aren't getting out of Wakanda. So we get this really great fight scene with them on the track, trading blows and everything, and we're able to get to the point where T'Challa's able to stab him through the suit as it was being disrupted, almost kind of symbiote style. I kind of like that kind of call. And he takes him out to the mountain to see Wakanda and see the sun and all that, and it's beautiful. He's like, listen, we can heal you. And he goes, yeah, but if you heal me, you'll just have me caged. I'm gonna die a free man more than anything. Bury me in the ocean where my ancestors fled to escape from bondage. And he just kills himself. I'm like, damn. It sucks that he died, but it was an earned character death. It was really cool and really powerful. Him sticking to his ideals like that. Damn. Okay. And of course, everything gets back to normal. Now, granted, they're going to have to figure out how to fix the whole thing with the Purple Heart Flower, because what if T'Challa loses powers or something? They need new kings and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's an issue. But everything's kind of good. We had M'Baku and his tribe that helped the rest of them take down the civil war within Wakanda is done. And we're like, all right, T'Challa did a badass job. And we see in the end credit scenes that T'Challa goes to the UN, reveals Wakanda to the world, even though they're like, the UN's like, what can a third world country full of farmers do for us? And then it's like, mic drop moment. Yeah, we're pretty much powered by vibranium. And I don't have a problem with that. It's like, okay, it's more of a metal, but now it's a power source. There can be loosey-goosey rules with certain things. I was like, okay, we're alright with it. And then, of course, we got the other end credit scene where we see that Bucky is being called the White Wolf, which could lead to some effects because there's a White Wolf person moniker in the comic books. That's usually head of a special task forces in Wakanda, and Shuri comes to kind of talk to him and kind of see how he's doing, and it's kind of like, alright, seeing him kind of getting geared up for Infinity War. Now, I thought they did a good job with all that, but I don't know exactly when the timeline line kind of lined up. Because I thought I heard it was like a week after, but I'm like, okay, whatever. And another thing that happened is that T'Challa is setting up an embassy in Oakland where his father's brother was killed, and Shuri and Nakia are going to head up that and help spread Wakanda and everything around there. And it was kind of cool seeing them decloak their thing, and the kids were like, what the hell is that? That's awesome. And he goes, who are you? And it's like, yeah, it's Black Panther. It's pretty cool, man. Vibranium suit and everything. Awesome superpowers. Yeah. So, this did a very good job of expanding upon T'Challa's origins, on Wakanda's origins, and just offering a really good story. Now, granted, pacing-wise, and having to deal with the whole Civil War thing and South Korea, and just mainly pacing issues. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see where kind of sequels are going to be going, and I can't wait to see T'Challa and the rest of them kick ass in Avengers Infinity War. Whew. Pump, pump, pump. And yeah. Alright, so those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.